I'm a Kapstad.
Goeiemiddag.
Yeah.
Hoe gaan dit?
Good, it's on you.
I'm okay. You look like you had a long day.
Just a lot to take in now from this press conference with Hugo. He said a lot, very interesting stuff. So I'm just thinking in my mind, what am I gonna write first? You know what I mean? So
If you-
it gives you a lot of information in one go.
If you were in Hugo Broos' shoes, what would you have done different
At AFCON or in here?
in terms of the squad selection here right now?
It would just be my personal preference on certain players.
Yeah.
I can't look at this squad and like really criticize it or anything.
Sure.
Um, because you can't just make changes for the sake of making changes. You also need to make changes with intent. And like for example, like okay, there are a couple of players like Tabang Matuludi from Polokwane sit here. I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Fawaz Basadin. Maybe some younger players. There's a good crop of titers.
Sure.
But I mean, he's selecting players with the intention of bringing players into to play World Cup qualifiers if there's injuries and things like that.
True.
So he's kept the core of his squad, made 10 changes. You know, Zanas, Aswanganis, guys who should be ready to play international football. Now he's throwing them in and see what they can do. So I don't have any complaints about the squad selection.
You were at the AFCON. You were reporting. You were giving us updates. On a daily basis on things that were happening at the AFCON. As a journalist, you are a parent. You are a husband. What are some of the psychological effects of leaving home for an entire month? Because being a family man, we know very well that you've got responsibilities and there are certain aspects and effects that come to fore. So in your case, what can you say are some of the psychological impacts of traveling, longer times and days? It's similar to being a player, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, but like even now, for example, I'm gonna go fetch your kids at school. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm thinking. I looked so pensive now because I was off the phone, and my wife like, "Hey,
Yeah.
are you gonna what's happening?"
What's the
you know
plan?
what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
So it's just more planning. So yeah, like when it comes to that, you know already months in advance it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
and you make provisions like to not be worried and just focus on work.
Sure.
And that provisions is like, for example, I'm from Cape Town. My wife is from Cape Town.
Yeah.
You fly down the parents 2 weeks and other parents 2 weeks. You can help look after the kids, babysit
Yeah,
when need
yeah.
be. So the wife can get a breather also, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Because we don't have family here.
Yeah.
But it is very taxing. Like after 2-3 weeks, you start to not just family. You miss food. You miss the weather. You miss waking up in your own bed.
Sure.
Just doing like normal things, just chilling. Because I
Yeah.
can honestly say it's very draining. You're there for 30, 32, 33 days and you're working every single day. There's no weekend. There's no, we're going to go out tonight or whatever. It's
True.
because you cover training, you cover press conference, you cover match. You have to work after the match. Your match finishes at 3 o'clock South African time.
Sure.
You end up working until 7 a.m. in South African time and then going to sleep. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's quite taxing.
It's very, very, very hectic and it's more mental thing.
Sure.
So if you do it for the first time, you will really struggle mentally, especially if you're not with a lot of people. So
Sure.
we were fortunate to be 3 guys and we were traveling together. So it made things easier, especially like for the fact the first time I went, I was in Egypt. It was
Yeah.
just Arabic, and now it's French. So yeah, like it's very difficult to communicate. You don't know where left or right is. You can't say, I'm going to go on the N1 now. you just don't know where you're in there. And the one thing, like for South Africa, when you're driving around,
Yeah.
I can see I'm here in a cheese boy territory now.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like it's safe here, whatever. There you can't tell the difference between a rich and a poor area. So it's.
Sure.
But look, I didn't experience anything bad or anything. It was a very good learning experience. And yeah, it's a very good for growth.
Yeah. In closing, we've got Mamelodi Sundowns dominating the league. Being an experienced writer, someone who's following the game, who's been following the game, how long do you think it will take for teams to catch Mamelodi Sundowns or for change to take place where you find a Orlando Pirates coming through and winning the league, or a Kaizer Chiefs, or a Morocco Swallows?
Yeah, I mean, Cape Town City is
Sure. Yeah.
Look, like we've seen these type of dynasties in
Yeah.
other countries, in Europe, for example. Anderlecht is a prime example. I think they won like 7, 8 titles. Olympic Lyon won 5, 6 titles in a
Sure.
row. Everybody has their chance, you know what I mean? Anderlecht had the most money, the best academy, the best youngsters, the best coaches, the best players. And then they just became a team that, after certain bad investments, I don't think it can happen at Sundowns, but you need to ask yourself the question, if Motsepe is no longer the owner of Sundowns, would they
Exactly.
still be Sundowns? No. But that's for another debate. I think our clubs don't need to look at Sundowns and say, oh, they've got all this money. I think they need to look at themselves. Because Sundowns money doesn't make you draw with Cape Town Spurs 1-1.
True, yeah.
Sundowns money doesn't make you get knocked out of the Nedbank Cup by Milford. You understand? That's when you're looking and you're reflecting at yourself, what can we do better?
True.
You know what I mean? So I think the clubs are not that far away from Sundowns. I think it's just a perception.
Sure.
We as the media are part of the problem. We're like, Sundowns is this amazing. Sundowns still have room for improvement. You know what I mean? Otherwise, they'll be winning the Champions League every year as well. So I think they just need to, stop selling so many, releasing so many players and buying so many players. Every season, Chiefs, Pirates, boom, 10 new players, 10 out, 10 in.
Yeah.
And how can you compete with Sundowns who's signing 4 quality players on top of the quality players
They have, yeah.
You see, so it's just the continuity, knowing each other and knowing where to improve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, for example, with Hugo Broos as an example, it's a national team.
Yeah.
He says, I'm struggling in this position, I'm going to try this one out. You know what I mean? So as a club, you need to say, I'm struggling in this position, and this is the type of guy who fits into our team.
Yeah.
More than, this one is on form,
True.
I'm going to bring him in.
Sure.
For both Chiefs and for both Pirates. So, I think Stellenbosch, maybe they're making some very good signings like Sanele Bonds. They're
Yeah.
not going to go win the league, but that is the type of intent that you need to show, to say, this is one of the standout players, he fits into our system, he's going
Let's
to improve our
hope.
team, and let's move forward.
Sure.
And that's what Sundowns are doing, and others aren't doing.
Lastly, you are a social media sensation, and there are young guys who are coming up, including female participants who want to make it into the world of social media because the world is changing, So can you look into the camera and give them advice, as to how can they go about and how can they make it the same way that you did?
Yeah, in the beginning it's very hard because you just create content to nobody, like maybe your mom, your brother, your dad will like and comment and say, nice work, your aunties and your uncles. And you're creating it for years.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, because of your consistency and hard work and, every day without fail, you're giving the people what they want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're eventually going to appreciate it and start sharing it and liking it and commenting on it, because I see those guys constantly giving us what we want. And I know a lot of young guys and girls all approaching me and saying how to do it. Guys, there's no secret. You just need to work hard.
Sure.
And I asked the same people that I looked up to the same question. I remember going to Joe Cran and I said, bro, how does it constantly look like you're 24 hours on social media? He says, because I am a lot of time on it, but you need to have processes. You need to set alerts on certain clubs. You need to speak to certain people.
Yeah.
So it's just hard work and consistency. And it's really not easy in the beginning. Until you see results, and once you start seeing results, it becomes a lot easier because
Yeah.
you're just getting what you want, and then after that, like for example, I'm at the Soweto derby.
Yeah.
The press conference starts an hour late, and then we have another hour of press conference, and then I must have an hour drive home,
Yeah.
right, while Sundowns is playing. But if I don't post that Sundowns lineup or result or commented about it, then I'll be called a biased Soweto agent.
Sure.
You understand?
Yeah.
So there are these sacrifices where you must sit there at the garage quickly, put it up, poof, drive.
Yeah.
And then check that, there's certain
Yeah.
things, because otherwise you don't post that result or that goal or comment on it, and then they say, no, you biased.
True.
You know what I mean? So it's dedication, consistency, hard work, and really just like planning. Like
Sure.
set goals, say, I want to speak to 10 coaches this month. I want to build relationships with players. I want to build relationships with agents. I think there's no secret to it. It's just hard work, consistency, and building a very good network.
Guys, this is Lorenz Kohler, Itiski Times journalist and writer. And he's been, at it. It's been many years now. Many of you guys might know him now. But as a colleague, he's been doing it for a number of years. And it takes a lot and a huge sacrifice for someone to say that I'm from the mother city, which is Cape Town. And for me to come here, I've got to bring my family. It's similar to football because footballers, not every footballer is from Joburg. We've got footballers that come from other nations that come and play in the DStv Diski Premiership, and they leave their families behind. And it's not all of them that are able to bring their families to come and join them here. And it comes with a lot of pressure. Players become lonely, players become homesick, players miss their families. So for someone like Lorenz to do it, to have his family here with him, it's not easy because, like he's saying,
must see my mom and dad and my extended family.
exactly, like a journalist, he's got to write, he's got to report, he's got to be credible. So we'd like to thank you. You know, if I don't have flowers now, but we'd like to give you your flowers for what you're doing for football, for what you're doing for young people, you know, because it's great and it's growing and we are seeing it. Bye, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sure, Fetz.
Sure.